Hey girl, hey. Hey boys, hey. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, you guys. My daughter is going to be moderating in the comments for me. And I just wanted to apologize for my live earlier where I was getting so heated and loud. It did really bother me that Sherilyn Cadle had said that since Sandy didn't give a voice in the book, that she didn't want to give them a copy ahead of time. And so that just rubbed me the wrong way. And so I was just passionate in that live and I was loud. And I just want to apologize that I came across like that. But I really did get very upset at the fact that Sherilyn Cadle had the nerve to say that she did not give them a copy of the book because they did not have a voice in the book. I understood her reasonings for not giving the Watts a book, but there was no reason whatsoever that she shouldn't have gave Sandy one, especially with all the dark things that Chris said in that book, you guys. And so it just really hit me hard in the heart that she wouldn't let them brace for impact. I mean, she went as far as saying that Shanann emasculated Chris. She went as far as saying that when she died, she, I don't want to repeat it again, but I mean, why would you not want to help them during this? Even the ugly media, she says in her statement, that even the media would help them brace for things like that so they could watch it at their own pace. And so for you to be a first-time author and be able to make so much money off of their tragedy, you should have been obligated to give that book to them ahead of time. And so I'm sorry, I don't want to spend too much time on it because it is going to make me upset again, but that was just foul on 1,000 levels. Wow. So let's talk about do you guys want the update on Patrick first, or do you want what I found in the first 200 pages of Discovery? You tell me and we will get started. So, hi, Helen. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Maria. Hi, Chronic Life KB. Yeah, a lot of people usually miss my live during the day because people have jobs, right? So I'm apologizing because I was screaming at my subscribers in my last live, Gabri. That's my daughter, you guys, Gabri. And because I came on here right after the Dr. Oz episode aired, and so I still had like some resentment towards Sherilyn, and it came across in my live, and I apologize for that. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so today in court with the Patrick Frazee case, the two women that Crystal worked with testified today. They admitted to Crystal telling them that she had some sort of involvement with the case. And she told them that she had gotten herself into something and in a bad situation. She asked one of them if she had heard about the missing Colorado mom. And when she told Crystal, yes, she had, she admits that she had gotten mixed up in that, she tells her friend. She did not give the friend details. She just stated that she did what she had to do to keep her and her kids safe. And that conversation took place on December 26th, which was a month after the murders, month and a couple of days. And that she did not return to work after that conversation. Investigators found 2 burn sites, you guys, outside of Crystal Kenny's home. And one of them is where she admits that she burned the cell phone of Kelsey. And then the other burn site is where she burned her burner phone. And she had 2 burner phones leading up to the murder, and she threw another one, she is alleging, into a pond. And so she said she destroyed both of the phones at her house. And they also found a partially melted glass cell phone protector as well. And Crystal borrowed her friend's car. We all know that car that we seen when she went to clean up after the murders, to come clean up at Kelsey's condo. And that friend testified today, and that she admits to staging text with Crystal to her phone to make it appear that she was staying with this friend and not going to Colorado, just in case her husband asked questions, or if it was basically they faked her alibi. And so Megan Garrison was Crystal's friend that let her borrow the car. And she also stated that there was a loaded gun that the friend kept underneath the seat of her car for protection for herself. And that Crystal claims that the gun she got rid of, that that belonged to Kelsey, she gave to a friend, Mark. And a law enforcement officer actually testified today that they did recover that gun from Mark. But this is a different gun that she found underneath the seat of, or that she knew was there underneath the seat of her friend's car. And that the friend said that it looked like one round was missing. So she didn't know if it had looked like it had been shot, but there was a round missing from her gun, she says. Robert Slagle, which is Patrick's very good friend, the man that we know went to Kelsey's condo and picked up the package that her brother had sent the ornament in. He admits that Patrick was in the car with him and that they were going around that day to figure out his timeline for the 22nd. And this is the man that Patrick said at Slagle testified that Patrick said at 12:45 on November 22nd, he was checking on his cattle. And then he said that he went to his parents for Thanksgiving at 3:45 and that he went home at 4:30. And surveillance shows Patrick at Kelsey's house as late as 4:30 on November 22nd. Slagle testifies that Patrick never told him he went into Kelsey's home, but he never denied it either. When CBI took apart Kelsey's floorboards of her condo, they found swaths of blood that seeped through into the wood. They actually showed juries pictures of what appeared to be blood on top of one of the bales of hay that was in the red barn. And that was at Nash Ranch. And that red stain, or it's brown colored now because it's dried blood, was the exact same diameters, just a little bit bigger to allow for spreading of blood, but was the exact diameter of the tote that Crystal is saying that Patrick carried the body out in and stored it in this barn in. So they're saying that the tote is 38 times 20 in diameter, and the blood is 38 times 30. So it just gives a little bit more to spread out the blood. Crystal told her friends that she had horses and a dog that she shared with a Colorado man, and that she visited her mom while she was there. And we also know that there was a piece of paper that showed ownership of a horse to Crystal from Patrick in his home. So I'm wondering if he paid her with a horse. And then the gun that was in Garrison's car, again, she admitted that one round of ammo was missing. And the officer testified about getting Kelsey's gun back from Crystal's friend Mark. And Patrick said Crystal was helping him sell dogs and he was training her horse. And that's what he told Slagle. And that, remember, I told you guys that the discolored diameter of the blood on the hay bale was 38 times 30, and the diameter of the actual tote that he was supposed to have carried her body out in was 38.20. And so I think that right there is going to seal the deal as well. And the jurors saw that today. Now, unfortunately, I did only get the first half of the Patrick case because no cameras, no media are allowed in there. So until they get out of court and we all find out what's going on, we're not going to know anything about what happened after recess. So I might do another live tonight or wait till tomorrow to update you guys on that. So let's see what kind of questions you guys have about Patrick before I get into the 200 pages of discovery that I went over. I also wanted to let you guys know that I missed an NK interview. She spoke to the agent on the phone earlier in the day than when she went in there and had her phones. So there's a whole nother, her first phone interview that I want to do a video on and cover as well sometime in the next day. So I missed that interview that phone interview that was supposed to go before the last interview that I did. And there are some juicy tidbits in that. I'm actually going to give you a piece of the information that I found in that video. I haven't broke it down yet, but I plan on doing that sometime in the next 24 hours. But I did find out in that very interview, if you guys want to go look, it's on Scott Reich's channel, and it says NK's first phone interview. All right. They go over how many times she called Chris the night of the murders. And, we are all wondering about the 51-minute call. But we forget about all these other calls that the agent calls her out on in this interview. Listen to how many times Chris and NK spoke on Monday night. Now, she says she was done with him by Tuesday. Well, you guys spoke an awful lot on Monday. This is what that interview says that she called. He says that at 9:48 on Monday, they spoke for 48 minutes. Okay. And then, so that would have put them back close to almost 11, but not quite, probably about 10:30. And then they spoke again for 51 minutes at 11:09. And then they spoke again for 30 minutes at midnight. And then they spoke again for 2 minutes and 44 seconds at 1:12 a.m. And then they spoke again for 35 minutes at 1:50 a.m. And then they spoke again at 1:58 for 7 minutes. And then they spoke again at 2:07 for 10 minutes, you guys. So I always thought that Monday night of the after the night of the murders, that they only had that 51-minute phone conversation. But no, this phone interview that I forgot to cover says that they spoke for 48 minutes at 9:48 p.m., 51 minutes at 11:09 p.m., 30 minutes at midnight, 2 minutes and 44 seconds at 1:12 a.m., 35 minutes at 1:50, 7 minutes at 1:58, and 10 minutes at 2:07. Now, what? Why did I not remember all of that? All right. Thank you, Helen. No gel and still a nurse. It is sick. She may get gel time at the end of it all. Yep. She had to tell Chris not to come to work. Please do what tonight? The interview with NK? Jennifer Ball? Which thing did you want me to do tonight? Yep. Yeah, I didn't know that they spoke that many times until I re-listened to that phone interview. I, honest to God, did not know. I mean, let's add this up. 48. Then we've got, let's see, basically 50 and 50. That's 100 minutes, 130 minutes. And then it's like 3 hours of conversation, you guys, if not more. 1, 2, 3, 4 hours of conversation that night. Do you think Patrick could get convicted without Crystal's testimony? Maybe she's an asset. Yeah, no, they said that they had no idea where the crime even took place until Crystal gave them all the evidence. That they had an idea because of the blood that they found in Kelsey's condo, but they really didn't have any details until Crystal gave them all the details. Yeah, that's true, Jennifer. Let's see. They probably did, Ivy Lynn. Okay, so this is what I've went over on the first 200 pages of the discovery. So, yeah, Crystal got very lucky. But if the if she's called back to the stand and the defense are able to tear her testimony apart, then the deal is off. I'm pretty sure the only way the deal is on is if Patrick gets convicted. So, okay, I'll do that tonight, Jennifer. It's not that long, so I can do that. Yes, the NK interview was the only one that she had over the phone. And it was right after she had texted him in the middle of the night at 2 a.m. He said that they spoke earlier at 2 a.m. And she also said something I want to bring up in that interview. She also said that Chris cleaned the garage in the basement on his days off. She was adamant about how much he cleaned. Well, how would you know what he does on his day off if y'all stayed at your apartment the whole time and never stayed at Chris's? I believe she was at Chris's house, and that's how she saw that he cleaned the basement and organized the garage on his days off. So that just to me, I felt like it was proof that she hung out there and saw what he did on his days off. And she actually asked the officers for her phone log so she can tell them what she talked about with Chris because she can't remember. And that's when they go into, in this interview, how many times they actually spoke that night. So, ooh, ooh. No, you just missed the update on Patrick Frazee. It was, you guys can watch the replay. It was just about Patrick Frazee. You did miss that NK on Monday night after the murders called Chris for 48 minutes at 9:48. They talked for 51 minutes at 11:09. They talked for 30 minutes at midnight. They talked for almost 3 minutes at 1:12. They talked for 35 minutes at 1:50. 7 minutes at 1:58 and 10 minutes at 2:07. So I did not know they spoke that much. So yes, girl, I will do that for you, Jennifer. Jennifer Ball. And hopefully we will get NK's missing chapter from Sherilyn Cadle at some point now that she's done her Dr. Oz interview. So I got my eyes peeled on the channel that she's probably going to do that on. I did hear that she was in the comments of AD's channel. Let's go check that out and see if she is real fast. Someone said that Sherilyn was in the comments. armchair that he's live.
It goes on.
Let's see if she's in here. I don't see her commenting. But evidently she's supposed to be in the chat here. You guys can go look if you want. But I didn't see her. When did Chris murder Shanann? As soon as she walked in the door? I think he murdered her as soon as she walked in the door or shortly after. I think that he probably removed the girls from their beds and took them down to the basement, and Shanann walked in and looked all over the house and couldn't see where they were, and the last place to look was the basement, and that she went down there and she saw what happened to the girls, and all of that happened. Or there's a version of that happened. Maybe a little bit of what Chris is saying is the truth. Maybe he did murder her in the bed. But I don't think that anything went the way that Chris said it, because I don't believe anything that he says. He's given 3 truths. And so I think that we are better at putting this puzzle together than Chris is. That we'll figure it out before Chris tells the truth. No, we're not talking about the night of the murders, Helen. We're talking about Monday. See, he killed Shanann at 4 a.m. on Monday morning. We're talking about that night. Him and NK talked. They spoke the night of the murders, or that Sunday night before Shanann got home, for 111 minutes. But it was one consistent phone call. But the night after the murders, the night that Chris said that he was laying in his house and he woke up feeling alone and all the lights were on and blah, 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 him and NK stayed up till 2 a.m. calling each other back and forth. So he is on for 6 hours tonight, and she was earlier. He couldn't get the live with Dr. Oz. It seems like that. It seems like that definitely once she got in, because he had to clean up afterwards. Yes. They were basically on the phone all night, Casey Lynn. You got that right. Oh, they wouldn't let him view it in the UK? Oh, no. I didn't know that. I recorded it, but I'm not going to post it because I don't want copyright strikes. But I did record it. And I only recorded, I had to record 5 times though, because there was 5 commercial breaks and I didn't want to record the commercials. So I don't think Sherilyn's going to give Armchair Detective an interview. Honestly, I don't. I think that you're be more, you would have more of a chance seeing her on Critical K's channel than on Armchair Detective's channel. But Critical K is out of town right now, so I think that we won't get a live from Sherilyn and her until the next few days. I don't think he did, but I'm going through Discovery, Casey Lynn, and I will be able to find out. But I'm pretty sure from what it looks like, everything that got deleted stayed deleted. I'm so sorry, Vicky. Yeah, I think that too, Ashley. Yes, and that's what I'm thinking, Jennifer Ball. The sheets would have had more telltale signs on them if she did what he said she did in the book. And I don't even want to say what he said. He said he knew Shanann was dead when she did this to herself. And so if she did that, then we would have seen that on the sheets. And I also want to ask you guys something, if you guys know, because I can't tell in Discovery. I think if Chris had murdered Shanann in their bed, we would have heard more about dogs hitting the scent. I think he did it in the area that was easy to clean and contain, the basement. Thank you very much. What day he spent the night at the friend's house? He spent the night at the friend's house on Tuesday night. It was Tuesday night because Sunday night he was waiting for Shanann. Monday night he he was scared, and he said that the demons turned all the lights on when he woke up on Tuesday. He was all alone, and then he went and stayed at the Thayer's house on Tuesday night. And I wanted to ask you guys, was the sheet that was found out at the battery, was it a bottom sheet or a top sheet? I need to know that. Was that sheet that he wrapped Shanann up in, was it the top sheet or the bottom sheet? Because if it's the bottom sheet, then maybe she did get in the bed. But if it was the top sheet, then she didn't get in the bed because she would have been in between the sheets. You see what I'm saying? So if it was the top sheet, he placed her on top of it. If it was actually the fitted sheet, then she would have, that's consistent with her being in the bed. It was the fitted sheet. Okay, so then she definitely could have, I'm not saying she was, but she could have gotten in between those sheets. Oh, someone else is saying top. The fitted one was in the trash can. Is that true? If that is true, if the fitted one was in the trash can, then he rolled her up in the top sheet, and that is not consistent with her getting in the bed. She would have gotten between the sheets. And the sheets would have had a mess on them. If he really did kill her in the bed, the sheets would have been messy, and that bottom sheet would have been what he wrapped her in, not what he put in the trash. So he wrapped her in the top sheet, which means that I don't think that she got in the sheets in the bed. So yeah, I remember that, Patty. So that's the one thing is I wanted to find out that did he wrap her on the top sheet or did he wrap her in the fitted sheet? If it was a fitted sheet, it's consistent with her getting in the bed. If it was the top sheet, it's consistent with him laying her on top of him because the comforter was thrown off on the floor. So we need to find that out. So if somebody knows for sure and can let me know for sure, because some of you are saying fitted, some of you are saying top, but that's just my assumption. Yes, but she was crying. So that's how the mascara could have gotten on the pillowcase when he put her on there because of her tears. The top sheet was in the trash. Okay. So then she probably was in the bed. So the picture of the dirty sheet was fitted. Okay. So then she probably was in the bed. Okay. So the top sheet was in the trash. So she possibly could have been in the bed. But that was just something that I was curious about. And Discovery states that Nate's security footage showed no other vehicles coming or going. I read that in Discovery, you guys. So we all saw those headlights. If the police missed the car, there's no cars coming or going, what else did they miss? The Discovery says Nate's security footage showed no other vehicles coming or going. And we all saw the headlights of the one vehicle that took off up the road. So I don't know what to think about the people investigating this case if they didn't even see that other car coming or going. I got it from Discovery. It's not the video, but I'll try to go look at the video, Maria, and see if I can tell. I will. I didn't know that they were. How do you know they're suing? Let me put this up. How do you know that they're suing Cadel? Yes, there's a video of them unwrapping it. Gabri, go check it out for me and tell me if it's a fitted sheet or a top sheet. Yeah, let's check it out. We need to watch that video. I agree. So, the other point that I made is that why did the officers put in Discovery that Nate's camera footage did not show any other cars coming or going? It did. We don't know whose car it is, if it was Betty's leaving from the gym, or if it was Jim's car because evidently he had a red car, or if it was Jamie's car because evidently she had a red car, or if it even was a red car. So, because it was pretty dark. But I just wanted to point out that these investigators that were investigating this case that everyone has so much faith in said that Nate's security footage did not show any cars coming or going, and it did. Yes, Jennifer, the mattress itself would be. If she did that, he could have lied and said that she did that. The mattress itself wouldn't be messed up if that didn't happen. Maybe he just added that to the book for dramatic flair, which is sick on his part. Because, yes, there would be remnants of that if it really happened on the mattress. I don't know about, that's a good question, VB girl, though. That is a very good question. What do you guys think about that? That at sentencing, he said that Chris carried out his family like trash. So maybe he said that because there were 2 trash bags found at the Battery, and he assumed that Cece and Bella were in them. I don't know. Or they saw that on some kind of footage that we're not getting. Ashley said, made a good point that there wouldn't be anything on the mattress if he hurried up and got her off of it. It's a fitted sheet at the Serby. Okay. Thank you, Lily. You rock, sister. I read that statement that they that from Dr. Oz, and that's not what it said. It didn't say that she was coming after legal course. I'll read it to you guys. Exactly what Sandy had said about Letters of Christopher. Her statement from her attorneys about how she felt about Sherilyn Cadel's book. I already covered that on my Dr. Oz video. Togetherness 11. I read that twice on my Dr. Oz video because I opened the Dr. Oz video with that and I ended it with that because I feel like Sandy's voice should be heard above everyone else's. Okay. Frank's statement in court, he said, "You evil woman," then says, "You evil one." You evil women, and then says, "You evil one." Huh. Let's see. Yes, the mattress would have been soiled and noted by the dog. Chris Watts is such a liar. They did in Discovery. They admit that they took it into evidence, and they said they found that on top of the fridge in Discovery. They said that blue nitrile glove was on top of the fridge in Discovery, and I wrote that down, so we'll go over that in just a minute. But I found it funny that it's at top of the fridge when that nitrile glove was found on top of the fridge when he took pictures of the fridge at a certain temperature too. Remember, nobody knows why he took those pictures of the fridge. I think Shanann's family knows more than what we do. Stuff removed from Discovery. I agree, Togetherness 11, and I hope that Sandy shares in her book. She probably wasn't going to before this other book came out, but I bet she wants to refute all this stuff. Yes, one glove was on top of the refrigerator in the kitchen. Exactly, Paula. That they are investigating now. Maybe. Chris wouldn't need gloves, would he? Only NK would. It was released by the attorneys. At the hearing, they did not know the details. This is why Frank said he threw them out like trash. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking too. Thank you, Bad Bish. Yes, I agree, Jennifer. I believe you, Ashley. I totally believe you. Anyone know that the author said there was a missing chapter that her lawyers said they would? No, her lawyers told her not to publish it. Oh, wait. Anyone know that the author said there was a missing chapter that her lawyers said they would publish? She told me and other people in an interview that her editor told her to take that chapter out of the book, and she's supposed to release that chapter to Critical K's Patreon group. These are all the same discovery from last year. This is the discovery from last year. I'm going over it again now that we know all of this other stuff. The author's trying to score more money from the missing chapter. That's why I think she left out the chapter. I think she wants to get another hefty payout for it, or get somebody to pay her to do it. Oh, that makes sense. There's a waterproof cover, and they were such neat freaks. I guarantee you they used that. A mattress cover. Gloves also found by detectives in the bedroom. Where did you see that at, so I can go search it down, Stardust? No, nothing got new released at all. Mr. Oak, I am going over the discoveries after we know everything that Chris has said. When the discoveries came out last year, Chris had not done his confession, and he had not done the book. So when you go back and read Discovery with all this new information that we have, then you can pick out a lot of different things that I didn't pick up before. So I am rereading Discovery, just like we went over NK's old interviews. They're not new interviews. We're just going over them with a fine-tooth comb and seeing what we can find out now. Cato's trying to make a profit. She wrote her first book. She's no end roll. I know that's right. Yes, there is a missing chapter. It's supposed to be read on Critical K's Patreon channel, or her paid Patreon. Nothing new on Oz, Brandy, except I did a whole video on it. It was the video before this one. I covered everything on Dr. Oz, and the only thing new was that Chris asked Sherilyn Cato if he was to get out of prison, would she allow him to watch her granddaughter? He wanted to know if she thought he was reformed. And she said, absolutely not. She did not order hair products. This is a huge misconception from everybody. I'm glad you asked this question. Thank you, Vicki. You guys, there is a direct sale company called Monet, and they auto draft your account every month for that month's hair products. And it declined. And so that was an auto draft. Shanann was not up buying hair products. This is just like Thrive. Thrive auto draft your account every month for that month's products. Monet is the same way, and Shanann was signed up with them, and that charge is what hit overnight. It was an auto draft. It was something that hit the month before, the month before, and the month before. Shanann was not up buying hair products at 2 in the morning. But how do we know they were there and those weren't from detectives? I haven't come across gloves being found in the bedroom in Discovery yet. So the ones you guys seen laying on the floor could have been to the dog handler. It could have been to the detectives that were there, or could have been from NK. Yes. He also talks about the missing blankets from his children's room in this interview that I found today from NK. And so he says that NK says that Nicole Atkinson's son is 10 or 12 and that he's running around the house during this search. And Nicole asked Chris if he thought that NK's son stole anything. And he said, yeah, my girls' blankets are missing from their room, but I don't think that he stole them. I think she took them. And so that's what he tells NK, evidently. And we all know she didn't take them. So I think that's something else he threw in the dumpster when he went by that dumpster that was at the construction site on the way home from the oil batteries. He stopped at a construction site, and unfortunately, that dumpster was dumped on the 16th before cops could get to it. The fact that Cato did not tell Chris he could watch her grandchild means she did not pander to him like the Watts family accused her of. She could have just said yes to get him to trust her more. That's true, VB girl. Very good point. Yes, it was done monthly. That's what I said, Stardust. That's exactly what I said. Just like Thrive, every month for 30 days, you get the hair care products. They can cut carpet up because blood would bleed through, and you can't clean blood with just regular cleaner or bleach under the naked eye. There is something that what is her name? Nancy Grace said that you can buy something that gets rid of DNA at Lowe's. I forgot what the name of it she called, but she said that you can buy that bleach does not get rid of DNA or blood, that there is something at Lowe's that you can buy that does get rid of it. Let's see. She's killing this whole releasing this book for good deeds by withholding info and then going on all these channels, interviews to release shocking new evidence. She just wants to make money. I agree. Yeah, she said it was 10 or 12. The gloves from the in pics from the crime scene. Why would police mess up crime scene throwing gloves on the floor? They wouldn't be messing them up. They would be putting the gloves on to touch stuff, and then they would take them with them when they leave. So there was a lot going on at that time. Yes, baby, I did. You said you couldn't tell. It's fine. Someone else said that it was fitted. I don't know about the books, if she sold a lot. No. Okay. It looked like a top sheet. Well, we don't know. Nobody knows. I'm getting conflicting stories. Yeah, he brought up in the book the fact that in California, after 25 years on a life sentence, you can get out and somewhere else out of the country. So, yeah, I've been told about the Yankee blanket, but Shanann also bought the same four pairs of the same flip flops. So, the Yankees blanket being on the floor doesn't mean that they didn't buy both Bella and Cece one. So there still could have been a Yankee blanket, but we don't know. And everything that I am guessing is just speculation. I will always give you another side that it could be. You guys are saying that these gloves were found in the bedroom on the floor, but that is not mentioned in Discovery at all. So the only reason why I said it might have been from the police is because the gloves are not mentioned in Discovery. So why would they keep it out of Discovery unless they were theirs? So, but again, they could be anybody's. They could be law enforcement's. They could be NK's. They could be Chris's. They could be Shanann's. They could be something the girls were playing with when they were running around the house. I mean, there's endless possibilities, you guys. But the discovery says that the glove was found on top of the refrigerator. I just went through Discovery. It doesn't really describe it. Okay. I don't know about the video with the sheets. And I actually haven't seen the gloves on the police floor. So if you guys could drop that link, that would be great. So I could go back and look at these. And I've only made it through the beginning of Discovery. It could be at the end. But so far, the only glove they said they found was on top of the refrigerator. I agree about NK's dad. Yeah, they said at the same time that they saw that lady go into the house that a black SUV rolled slowly by the house, and you couldn't tell if the woman got out of the SUV or not, but she just happened to walk up to the house during that, while that car was driving by. Nobody has any information on her dad. No one. I mean, YouTubers have been covering this for a year, and nobody has yet to do an informative video on Dwayne. Okay, so no one has anything to say about Nate's security footage. The police saying that they saw no cars coming or going on that footage. It says in Discovery that Nate's footage did not, of Chris backing his truck up, did not show any other cars coming or going during that time. Shanann's phone had an alert on it that the garage door opened at 12:42, you guys. 12:42. Shanann's phone had an alert that the garage door opened at 12:42. The police actually got there at 1:40. And also, they tried to see if you could push the button of the garage from the inside and run out, and there was enough time to hit the button and run under the garage, and it still closed. I agree. They dropped the ball on the Ramsey case and this one. Exactly. And why would they put it in discovery that there was no cars coming or going? No, 12:42 in the afternoon. There was a alert on Shanann's phone and Chris's phone that at 12:42 the garage door opened. And Nate stated in discovery that he heard yelling from that house numerous times, but we all know that was from Chris and NK fighting, not from him and Shanann fighting. That's what I was thinking, Patty. Maybe she left at 12:42. We never said that Jim and her dad's statements were part of discovery. What are you talking about? I'm sorry. I'm confused. No one ever said that Jim and her dad's statements were part of discovery. I haven't got to them yet, but I've only done the first 200 pages, you guys. There's 1,900 pages. I think he's trying to manipulate the people from in prison. And I also think he's trying to scare NK. I think he gave enough of the details to pressure her into writing him, or he's going to tell. Nobody can find information on him. Good luck with that. I wish. I will watch your channel 100% if you do. Yes, please do. Lily Mel. Yes, NK's dad. Okay, so some other things I wanted to talk about from the discovery was Chris tells the police that he slept in the basement Thursday and Friday. Didn't Shanann leave on Friday? Why would he be in the basement on Friday? That's the same night that NK was supposed to have went to the Rockies game with Danielle. So why would he be in the basement or telling them that he's in the basement Thursday and Friday? Unless he didn't want NK to be seen by his girls. Maybe NK and Danielle came over there for all we know, because Shanann wasn't home and his texts that he sent NK that night could have been staged. So Chris deleted his Facebook on August 9th, the day before Shanann leaves for Arizona, and the glove was found on top of the refrigerator. And when was that fridge pic where he took the picture of the temperature in the refrigerator? Does anybody know that? And also, they state in the discovery that he actually listened to NK. Well, they don't say that part, but remember she told him to move his truck? Well, when they got there, his work truck was parked east of the home. And when the dogs came, it detected on the truck, but no hard command. But the doors were closed, and they never opened the doors to Chris's work truck. They just took the dog around it. And they even admit to this in discovery. The discovery said that the cadaver dog had indicated a struggle or an argument ensued in the home. Jeff said his dog, the track dog, showed interest in an unmade bed in the basement in an area below the stairs. Okay, so that's why I think something happened in the basement. He may have lured her down there, and the only way he could have lured her down there at 2 a.m. in the morning is when she went in to kiss her babies goodnight and they weren't in their beds. So she would search the whole house for them, then finally go in the basement, and that is where the dog did his alerts. He also said something I thought was odd in Discovery, that they never went on a hike. They'd been married for 8 years and they lived in Colorado, but they never went on a hike. That was crazy. Let's see. Her cell phone did ping in Frederick, Colorado at 6:30 in the morning on the morning of the murders. Yes, but Caroline, the girl spoke to Frank Sunday night, Rusek, and he said that they were eating cold pizza and candy. So I don't think that he would risk the girls telling Frank during that FaceTime call that they had seen NK. So if he did introduce them to them, then they would have possibly told Frank when he called on Sunday night and spoke to Bella while she was eating cold pizza and candy. Very true. He opens his mouth and lies come out. Exactly, Ashley. Thank you. It did ping that morning. True. Very true, Lily. In Discovery so far, they are saying that the dog only picked up, and this is only the first 200 pages of Discovery, but Jeff's dog, the track dog, showed interest in the unmade bed in the basement and an area below the stairs. So that's showing interest is alerting. They said that the truck was not a hard command. Yeah, they didn't even open up his truck and let the dog go in the truck. Yes, hit that like button, you guys. Thank you, Nikki. Chris says in Discovery that, oh, I already told you guys that. Now, this is another very, very creepy thing. And if I didn't believe in psychics before, my mind is opened up to it just a tiny little bit, because you guys know what the psychic said on the 15th, right? 2 days before Chris even confessed. It's okay, Lily. Hit that like button, you guys. I had 200 on live earlier today when I was talking about Dr. Oz, and only like 50 of them liked, but it's all right. I'm not even monetized, so who cares? I care more about getting answers than I do about making $100. So, all right. So the median contacted them on the 15th, the psychic, you guys. And yeah, I'm getting sidetracked, but let me. That giggle in the closet was super creepy. Oh, you guys seen the dog alert by the vacuum? I get it. In the body cam videos. Makes sense. Thank you, Ashley. You are a big support. Thank you so much. Okay, so the psychic got all these things right, you guys. Before Chris even confessed to these murders, between the psychic said that it happened between 2 and 5 a.m. She also said that Chris was having an affair. She said that he strangled Shanann and suffocated the girls. She said that there was a feeling of underwater and that he moved them in the truck. She said there was no bloodshed and that they were driven deep to the woods and that it would be difficult to find them. And remember, the officers had to meet Anna Darko at the Love truck stop to be able to find their way into that place. So that lady was spot on. And supposedly she was supposed to be from Maryland or Massachusetts or something. And I think she was in a lupus Facebook support group or something. She said that they had issues related to money. She said that Shanann spent too much time on Thrive and that she had a vision each girl was wrapped in a blanket after being suffocated. And since she was right about everything else, what if she's not right about them being wrapped in a blanket? And that's where the missing blankets are that Chris brought up that were missing in his interview to NK on the phone, and she says this in her interview. You never heard about the psychic? Yeah, she literally got almost everything right. It's okay, Bebop. Yeah, that's creepy, Carolyn. I know, but we have no proof of that. That's my problem. It's hard to just believe YouTubers because a lot of YouTubers are saying a lot of stuff that isn't true. Yeah, they didn't check the truck with the dogs, and they said that there was no other car seen coming or going on on Nate's surveillance footage on his door cam or whatever it was called. Being cautious about what? I'm pretty good at voicing my own opinion. I'm not being cautious. I'm just giving I'm only saying what I know to be true or what my speculation is. So I'm open to everyone else's speculation. I'm just not going to replace speculation with facts. Maybe, but the psychic said that she did say that they were smothered. She said that she had a vision that each girl were wrapped in a blanket after being suffocated. That's all it said in the discovery. Massachusetts, that's what it was. Thank you, Divinity Blue. I didn't hear that, Patty. I'll have to go back and listen. Yes. So I'm not being cautious at all. I'm just making sure that I don't put any extra hearsay in you guys' heads that's not already out there. I will address things that other people are saying and how I feel about it. But if I come up with my own theory, I will tell you that that's my theory, that it could be wrong. And I can be swayed by facts anytime, any day. As soon as you guys show me the video where the 2 gloves were on the floor, then I'm going to be like, great, police are awful and didn't even, they recorded the glove on the refrigerator, but they didn't record the gloves that were found on the floor. So I will have y'all's back. I promise you that. I am not hard-headed. My way, it's got to be my way. No, that's why I'm here, is to get you guys' opinion and to maybe shed some light on this. Oh, sorry, the things are going too fast. By the time I click on one, it changes. Yeah, Caroline. Also, even the detective is trying to rush NK out of her interview. She's trying to pour her heart out to him, and he's like, "Is that important? I don't think that's very important." And he keeps trying to get out of the interview room with her. Yeah, she does take the dog outside after. Wasn't the Frederick ping on NK's phone investigated? There are just too many things that leave too many questions unanswered. Yes, I agree. Helen, but she was so right about all of that stuff. I felt the same way too. Like, I don't even like that kind of stuff. I'm not about that kind of stuff. I've never had my palm read or anything. But we have to admit that she was right on so much before anyone knew. Yeah, besides the John Benet Ramsey case, that was a horrible investigation as well. Okay, so I found out in Discovery the people that gave them Dieter was named Jenna Dietz, and she wanted the dog back. In Discovery, it says that if it was possible, they wanted the dog back. So it seems like they didn't want to leave the dog with Chris, and the dog did not like Chris either. I'm opening my mind up to it, Elizabeth, and I was like closed to all of that. Nope, nope, psychics aren't real. But when I read that in Discovery, I got chills. I did. There's also been creepy sightings of girls, little girls looking out the window at the same height as Bella. And so it's not just that woman, you guys. There's a lot going on in that house, and I would never, ever, ever buy that house, even if you paid me $1 million to live there. Okay, you guys, I've already said it's a possibility that they didn't come from cops. I was just giving you some answers on how they could have gotten there. Obviously, the cops didn't think they belonged to NK, or they would have had them tested, or they would have been in Discovery. So maybe the cops knew where they came from, and they didn't have anything to do with this case. So if they're in Discovery after I finish reading them, I will apologize. If they come up anywhere else, if I see them with my own eyes on a video, I will bring them up and I will say, you guys are absolutely right. And I was totally wrong. But we're just speculating here. We are all just throwing out ideas of what it could be, what it couldn't be. And so when someone doesn't agree with your scenario, we don't have to keep beating a dead horse and saying that they're wrong. Okay, it was just a thought, just like there's thousands of them pouring in right now. Okay. Let's get off the gloves. The gloves did not come from cops. There you guys go. Ever, did they ever come from cops? Exactly. We're brainstorming. And when people said that there were cops on the ground, the first thought are cops on the ground. When they said there were gloves on the ground, my first thought went to the glove found on the top of the refrigerator. And then my second thought was, I haven't read anything about the gloves, but the discovery is so jumbled together. I'm only on page 200. Those gloves could show up on page 1870. So I am just making statements and brainstorming and giving ideas of what it possibly could be. I am not definitive on anything about this case. Nothing at all. My mind and my opinions can be swayed. I used to think that NK was innocent. I really did. And now I don't. I thought it was the bath salts that were making people eat people's faces. Hot pink jalapenos. You heard what Charlene Cadle said. Her husband said about Chris, and his small hands. I needed that laugh. Thank you, Hot Pink. I was getting a little frustrated. So the police was taking out the evidence in see-through bags, which is against protocol. Sorry, my Russian can't spell. Oh, you're good, girl. Yeah, that's true. She did. Elizabeth, will you post the link of that? Can somebody pretty please post the video of where you guys saw the gloves on the floor? I promise you I would do something for you guys too if you ask me. Hot pink jalapenos, I do too, and it's almost too soon. People don't like my humor sometimes because it's too soon. So, yeah. That's my coping mechanism too. I get sarcastic and crack jokes about things whenever I am stressed. Yes, I'm the same way. Okay, so what else were we going over? So, the gender reveal, you guys, was supposed to be on 8/19, okay? She was murdered on 8/13, so it was supposed to be that following weekend. And on 8/8, it was canceled. So that's 9 days before it was canceled. And Shanann said through text in Discovery to her friend that it was because Chris said they were not compatible anymore and that he had a lot of time to think. And that's what her friend Taylor said to the police and sent her text messages between her and Shanann. And she said that she was to cancel the gender reveal. On 8/9, Shanann asked Taylor to watch the kids for a few hours on Friday, the 17th, because this was when Shanann was trying to line up Nicole Atkinson to babysit for the weekend so her and Chris could go out of town together. Well, Nicole Atkinson wasn't going to be able to get to her house until after 7 p.m. on Friday. And so she asked the Taylor woman that was going to do her gender reveal if she could possibly go to her house on Friday to wait for Nicole Atkinson to get there. And of course, she said that she had to work both her jobs that day and that she can't. And she says that her and Chris were planning to leave for the weekend. And once she said that she couldn't do it, Shanann does not respond. And so Taylor texts her again on the 13th when she hears that Shanann and the girls are missing. Are you okay? Are you and the girls okay? And there was no answer. And so all during all of this, they did keep unmarked cars that they had officers with binoculars sitting outside watching all the comings and goings of the home. So they did have surveillance on Chris's house during these 2 days that he was out. So I'm wondering what all was said or what all was seen on that. Let's see. You're okay, Divinity. We're all here to bounce ideas off of each other. It is so much info. I don't know how to post links. It's on Mommy Ramblings. Okay, I'll just go check it out there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, BB girl. Yep, this is just a crap show. Thank you, Bebop. Bebop. Let's see. Chris Truck GPS. Oh, let's put it up here. Chris Truck GPS said he stopped for 4 minutes at a house on his way back from getting rid of the bodies before he came home. That place was under construction and had dumpsters. Yes, that's in Discovery. I have that written down. That they actually dumped that dumpster. He stopped there and they went back there. They followed his GPS and they went back there. But the dumpster had been dumped at 6 on August 16th. So they were just a little too late for that. Yes, I did a whole video on it, Alina. I did a video on the whole Dr. Oz. It is the video before this one. Yes, and they were actually working on a home, and the cop actually went back to that construction site and spoke with the foreman and looked in all the dumpsters, and the only thing he saw in the dumpsters were construction site stuff. And then he asked the workers if they had seen anything in there, and the workers said that people dump stuff in their dumpsters all the time, and so they wouldn't have thought anything of it if they did see anything in there. And then they found out that they were dumped on 8/16 and they didn't go there until like 8/20. It's okay, Remy. I'll go find it. They told me that it's on Mommy Ramblings, and I probably need to subscribe to her anyway. What's the Robert Durst case? Yes, it was on his GPS, Patty. So, really, hot pink jalapenos? There is no telling. So the police were called to the Watts home at 1:20 p.m. for a breaking and in on August 17th. The police were called to the Watts home at 1:20 p.m. for a breaking and entering, possibly in progress. When they got there, they realized it was Chris's legal team. They were performing a forensic investigation. What in the world would Chris's legal team be doing at his house forensic wise? Can you guys help me with that? What in the world would they have been doing at his house, forensic wise, for his case. And he also admitted in the book that they were going to go whatever direction they wanted to. So why would the police allow the attorneys of the defendant inside the crime scene? I don't get that either. But upon further investigation, law enforcement was advised that they were authorized to be there. So does anyone know what Sandy meant when she told law enforcement that Shanann and Chris had court on the 24th about a family matter? That was in discovery. Please enlighten me. Somebody enlighten me. What did they have court for on the 24th about a family matter that Sandy told the police? This is the first time I've heard that. So please let me know. Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. Please like the video, you guys. Pretty please with the cherry on top. VB, don't you think NK has seen the YouTube witch hunt? She ain't ever coming out from under a rock. Who would? Summer Darkness, it's not a witch hunt. It's okay to go after and predator someone's husband and to go in the married woman's home. It's okay to do all this stuff. She violated Shanann's privacy. She invaded Shanann's space. But it's a witch hunt because we're asking about her lies, stuff that she fed us. We are trying to find out what's going on. So it's invasive for us to do this on YouTube, but it's not invasive for her to ride in her man's in Shanann's car. It's not invasive for her to come to the basement. It's not invasive for her to sit in her garage and text Chris. It's not invasive to yell in her home or have an argument in her home. So it's not a witch hunt. If you want to know a witch hunt is what Nicole Kessinger did to this woman's husband. She witch hunted him. And she put all her voodoo and all of that. And Chris is just as guilty. I'm not saying Chris NK is worse than Chris. They're both exactly the same. They are identical. But if you want to call what we are doing a witch hunt, then you best believe that Nicole Kessinger witch hunted Shanann. Oh, I get it. Yeah, I've never watched Mommy Rambling, so I don't really know much about her. But I do let you guys know my opinions on people. I do tell you how I feel. And I subscribe to people that I don't even agree with because they have some of the family members that pertain to this case in their chat sometimes. When Nate heard the arguments, it was when Shanann was in NC, right? Yep. He said that he hears them fighting all the time, but she had been gone for the last 6 weeks. Exactly. Shanann had never had a clue. And when they went to the museum, she rode in her car to the Mustang Museum and everything. Maybe, VB girl, it's because he wasn't helping her. He was checked out. She was in the first trimester of her pregnancy. She was taking care of the girls. And so they were out of school for the summer. And so she needed help. Chris obviously wasn't helping her. And it was probably a much needed break to go out there and let the grandparents help take care of the babies or the toddlers. Oh, it was the homeowner's late fee. Then why did Sandy say it was a family matter? Thank you for answering that, Vicky for Vixen. Yes, what about NK commenting upon the engagement ring? Didn't she supposedly think Shanann was coming back at that point? Yeah, she said she hasn't even been missing for 4 hours and she's saying upon the engagement ring. I do too, Ivy. Yes, he did go on and say that he was exaggerating the fighting between Shanann and Chris, but I guarantee you he heard that fighting on the 14th. NK thought she was more important than she was. She was a side piece, but had the audacity to ask Chris Watts if he couldn't talk because he was with her, his wife. Yes, he's with her. Yeah, she acted like she was the woman being put out. She acted like she was the one that was being betrayed. Shanann and okay, so you guys already answered the court thing for me. Thank you. Discovery also says that hair was found on the east tank. So if the hair was found on the east tank, it was not Bella's hair, it was Cece's hair, you guys, because she was the one that was found in the east tank. And Chris's phone was not taken until August 14th at 9 p.m. So they gave him his phone for 24 hours and did not take it. That's crazy. And that's the thing, Summer Darkness, is we don't know if she's a mistress or a murderer. She's one or the other. There's a 50-50. There's a 100% chance she's a mistress, but there's a 50% chance she's a murderer. We don't know that she's not. I agree, Rachel. Thank you. Or she's both. Thank you, Caroline. Exactly. She thought he loved her and worshiped the ground that she walked on. Did you hear NK says Shanann was doing everything to get out of this house and not saying that house? Yeah, exactly. She could be anything to an innocent party to guilty as sin. She falls somewhere between those lines. And until I get more information, I'm not going to. I don't know what I think until I get more information. I need more information. I need these questions answered. And until I get these questions answered, you don't lie when you're innocent. You lie when you're guilty. So I'm leaning more towards the guilty side. An hour and 30 minutes, Miss T. Welcome, Truther Sleuther. Thank you, still here. Okay, so on August 14th at 9 p.m., Chris' phone was not taken until then. But didn't we see Chris with his phone on the 15th because he was watching those videos of the girls on his phone? So Discovery says that they took his phone on the 14th at 9 p.m., but I clearly saw him with it looking at the videos of the girls during his confession. When his old boss reached out to Chris from the Ford dealership, he says the only thing Chris said when he asked him about Shanann and the girls was, "I should not have talked to the media." And I also need to know, what is this silver canister with the word Celeste written on it that police picked up from McKee Medical Center in Loveland as evidence? That was in Discovery too. What's up with that? Somebody help me understand that. That this law enforcement went to pick up this canister, this silver canister with the word Celeste written on it that police picked up from McKee Medical Center in Loveland, Colorado as evidence. What is that? What is that? Please help. I had never read that before. Yes, it's a new channel, honey. About a month. Yep, she would have played an innocent little victim. Yeah, she should have got jail time for lying too. No, this is not a pro anybody channel except for the people that are dead. Everyone else they can defend themselves, but I am not a pro Chris channel in any way, shape, or form. True. Yeah, it was right in the discovery. It said that he went to go pick it up from McKee Medical Center in Loveland as evidence, and that it was a canister with the word Celeste written on the front. And I want to know what it had to do with. Drinking cup with Celeste's name on it, I believe. But why would it be at the medical center? I'm not sure, Shell, if they would ever do that. Yes, I do too. I am a victim of domestic violence myself, and it can make a person blow up, but Chris was not a victim of domestic violence. I want to know what the container is too. It said a canister, not a cylinder, a canister, and it's in Discovery. You guys can find it on the first 200 pages. What do you mean by that? Welcome to Chili's. I'll be your server tonight. What does that mean? Hot pink jalapenos? On August 18th, that's when they went to pick up that canister, you guys. So if anybody can find out what it's about, let me know. Okay, so then it does show in Discovery that they thought that the relationship started May 25th because they said 2 weeks from the end of June. So that would have been May 25th. The shovel ended up missing from the work truck at one point. At the beginning of the Discovery, it says that the officer said he saw it in the back of the truck the night before, but it wasn't there when they came to pick it up. But there is a shovel in Discovery, so I don't know about that. And what about the rando that called investigators on their hotline that they had set up about the calculator app? They were talking about a whole different mistress, but they gave cops a lot of information about that calculator app that Chris had on his phone, even though it was for the wrong person and the wrong information. It had nothing to do with Chris. But it's crazy that the lady in the call told them all about how the calculator app works as a way to communicate, and it looks like a calculator. Also, the camera in the interview kept going in and out the days after the murders. In interview one, it shows in Discovery that in interview one, the camera was going in and out. So that might explain why we don't have everything from Nicole's interviews and everything like that. I know. I thought that too, JB. I don't know. I think the relationship began as early as March, if not sooner. I've never heard that, AM. Never ever heard that before. Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, but doesn't degloved mean that the skin came off? God rest her soul. I hate saying that. But doesn't that what that means? It doesn't mean that the whole thing came off. Degloved means just the skin came off because the crude oil was acting as a corrosive. Where did you find the information about the Addies, Alina? Yeah, that's what I thought. It means the skin. Yeah, not the hand. Okay, so then also that camera going in and out is not good to me. I do not appreciate that. They should have been up to par on that. And on 8/14 at 2:45, Jamie Watts was talking to the media, but stated she should not be talking and hung up. And this is a day after the murders. And on 8/14, Sandy called and wanted Shanann's NC luggage that was found upstairs, still unpacked. She wanted it searched. And the discovery says that Nicole Atkinson called the cops for a well check at 9 a.m. This has got to be a typo because I thought she called the cops later. And if that's true and she called them at 9 a.m. and they didn't get there till 1:40, that is just messed up. Somebody please correct me on that if I'm wrong. But that's what Discovery says, that Nicole Atkinson called the cops for a well checkup at 9 a.m. And the dumpsters Chris went to on the way home the day of the murders were dumped at the landfill on August 16th. So cops didn't get there in time on that either. And the second time Chris was asked to recount the morning of August 13th, this is when the cops first got there. The second time he was asked, he added that he did a 15-minute workout in the basement. So the first time he says he got up at 5 a.m. and he left at 5 something, and Shanann was still in the bed. Then when he recounted it again, he said that he got up at 4 a.m. and he did a 15-minute workout in the basement. Now, for those of you guys that think that NK would have stayed in Shanann's home while she was there, she could have been in the basement for all we know. And he got up and went down there to check on her. I have no idea why he would add that little tidbit in when he was describing the second recount. The first recount of the morning, he said he got up at 5 a.m. The second recount, it was 4 a.m. It is interesting. He says he went to the basement for 15 minutes to work out before going to argue with Shanann. Chris tells law enforcement he loaded his truck for 10 minutes, but actually it was 37 minutes that he was sitting in that driveway, and he didn't leave until 5:45. Chris also says that he got a basement door alert on his phone after he left that day. So, was she there? Was she not? Who knows? So that is the first 200 pages of discovery. And we talked about the Patrick Frazee case. I'm probably going to let you guys go so I can go ahead and start breaking down NK's interview that I missed on the phone. She had an interview on the phone with the officers, with Kevin, before she brought both of her phones in to be downloaded. So I skipped that one. Okay. So I'll take a couple more questions and then I'm going to go, you guys. Thank you so much for your love and support. Don't forget to smash that like button and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Okay, so that makes sense, JB. So she called the police to talk about the well check, right? And they probably said that there's not enough evidence or whatever, not enough time for them to be alarmed. And so then when she went to the doctor's office and found out she didn't show up, that was a cause for alarm, right? Yeah, the purple sleep mask in the basement dare to be different. That had to be NK's. Or if it was Chris's, it makes me think that he did give Trent those skincare items that Trent is saying that he got from Chris. So if that mask is not NK's mask that was found in the basement beside the bed, then it had to belong to Chris. And if Chris was that all about skincare, then I believe Trent when he said that Chris gave him skincare items. Feel bad for all the people traumatized by the investigation. Yes, me too. Also, he brought them to work site to be buried. I'm not 100% sure she's been cleared. That article that people are putting all over YouTube that nobody else is being investigated at this point is from December of 2018, you guys. The DA saying that no one else is being investigated, that Chris was the only one, was in December of 2018. That was before his confession in Wisconsin to FBI and CBI, and that was before the book. So it's a year later from him saying there's no investigations on anybody else. The dog was put, it says in Discovery, the dog was put on the back deck. Thank you, Miss T. Maybe he was. They do have anxiety medicines for dogs. But thank you so much, you guys. We still have so much of the discovery to go over. We still have the rest of Chris's interview to go over. We still have this interview with NK to go over. We have Dr. Phil's podcast on Thursday. And so there's a lot to cover. So hit that subscribe button, you guys. Hit that like button and welcome to my channel. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I do giveaways here, lots of stuff. This actual video, since I don't make money on YouTube, is brought to you by Rarity Nails, and these are 100% real nail polish strips that you just stick on your nails and go. You don't have to wait for them to dry. You don't have to any of that. You don't have to smell nail polish. And so these are only $5 a pack. I will put the link in the comments. You can just order them yourself and they will be delivered right to your house. If you love them and you want to get a lot of them, they are buy 8, get the 9th one free. So make sure that you put your 9th one in the cart. And thank you so much, everybody, for all of your comments and questions and opinions, and we will all figure it out. If everybody keeps an open mind to anything, we will get down to the bottom of it. I promise you. It may take us a year, but I promise you we will figure it out. But thank you so much for your love and support. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.